YouTube, it's your boy, Sean Matrai. We are back with Code Talkers. Yes, we hit King of Games. And this deck is really, really good. I'm going to explain about all the different techs. Oh, why do I have Discord open? I'm going to explain about all the different techs. And yeah, we're going to go over what's in here, what's not. I'm going to go over some replays. I'm going to discuss about the deck because it may sound confusing at first, but I assure you, the deck really pops off once you get to know it. Okay, so anyway, it's actually not the right build. Hold on. Okay, I'm going to show you the build we got caught with. Give me 1 second. Alright, so minus the 2 Dark Holes, this is the build we caught with. Alright, and we also played this. I want to put one more card in this list as well. I forgot to put this in. Give me 1 second. We have... Where are you? One-time passcode. So I'm going to go over this deck. I'm going to explain to you what we run, why we run it, and what's really good. So we run 3 Compulse. Compulse is really good. Because there's a few things you can do with it. I'm going to go over that soon, but it's really good to just bounce back their monsters, obviously from the extra deck, and really helps you. It really helps you just clear, get extra disruption. So it's really good. And generally on your turn 1, you're going to end on multiple disruption. So I'm going to go over the monsters. We'll go back over Compulse again once I tell you the other benefits, why I played it over Crackdown. So we run 2 Debug, because that's all you're allowed to run. Debug on summon searches any level 3 or lower cybers. So pretty much anything except for Link Slayer, this card searches in your deck. On top of that, we run 2 Dotscaper. Dotscaper is really good because this card's great to use with Silent Mining as a Sea Archiver. Because when you discard Dotscaper, when it's sent to your graveyard or banished, you get to special summon it. So if you discard it off Mining, then you don't minus. So it essentially turns Mining into a straight up Rhoda that searches anything. So this gives you the advantage when you pitch it off Mining. On top of that, we are running 1 copy of Link Slayer. Link Slayer is really good because if you special summon it, when it's special summoned, you can discard any amount of cards. I mean, not any amount. You can discard up to 2 cards from your hand and be able to target that many spell or traps on the field and destroy it. It's pretty good going second, and it could be at like a back row removal too, so you can use it to bait out back row. Very, very good. Mathmech Edition is very good as well. This card, you target a monster in the field, it gains 1,000 attack, and you special summon it to your field. However, Edition cannot attack that turn. So this can be really useful to target your links and allow them to swing over things like over 3,000 bodies like Spirit Dragon. Otherwise, you have a big trouble getting over that, but you can target it and have it swing over like your Decode or your Firewall. Firewall goes up to 35 and kills over the Spirit Dragon. So that becomes very good. On top of that, we are running 1 Backup Secretary. This card is very good. Just specials itself on the field from the hand when you control Cybers. Nothing else to really say about that. Microcoded, this card is insane. When you link summon a Code Talker monster, you can use this as material in the hand. So if you go into Code Talker, Decode Talker, or Encode, you can use this out of the hand. And when it's sent to the graveyard as link material, you get to add 1 Signet spell trap from your deck to your hand. So you're going to search Mining or your Crosswipe, and I'll talk about what Crosswipe does when we get up to it. Sea Archiver, like Dotscaper, has an additional effect in the grave, but what's very important is this level 2 or higher, and we'll talk about that in terms of summoning something like Elphase. But what you're going to do in Archiver, if it's normal or special summon to a monster zone link points to, you get to special summon back Sea Archiver. So if a monster is summoned to a zone that link points to, you could reborn link Sea Archiver from the hand or from the graveyard. So it's very useful again to pitch off Mining, gain that extra advantage, and can make Elphase. Silent Mining, if you don't know what it does, you probably do. You played in Solid Meta 100 times over. Discard a card, add one level 4 or lower Cyberus to your hand. It's certainly going to be debug, but sometimes it's not. Sometimes you open both debug and mining, and then you have the world is your oyster and can search whatever you want. MST, yes, you want to play 2 MSTs or Lance. You need a way to deal with back row. I like MST in a format where Mech Knights are everywhere, so that's something. I don't think that magical muskets are that relevant, but MST is really good to deal with Mech Knights on the ladder, because you can take out secrets, obviously, which is huge. Another thing with Signet mining, people are going to ask is, how many do I need? Optimally, you want 3. Can you cog with less than 3? Yes, you can cog with like 2 of them, but ideally, you really want 3 for the deck. Now, we play 1 cross swipe. This card is really good. You want it as a 1 of. You tribute a Cyberus, then target another card in the field, destroy it. Going second, this card is fantastic because you have a ton of extenders, and your opponent will most likely be playing around MST Lance rather than play around this, and this card can really catch them up by surprise. So, for example, let's say you go in and you're going against Mech Knights. They set like Crackdown or Book in addition to their secrets. If they have 2 back row on the field and they try to book you, or Crackdown you contribute your monster, then pop it, and pop their secrets, which is very good. That allows you to bait out plays, and then you can OTK them after. So really good 1 of. And it's also searchable disruption. So like if you go turn 1 with cross swipe, it's searchable through microcoder. So you can search it, and generally when we go full combo involving Firewall, I'm gonna pop into Gate Duel to show you how to do that. I'm gonna teach you how to do it, so that way, you don't get confused and you know what's going on. Then I can show you how to do that. Also, cross swipe is also really good because for going through OTK through Kite, because with L phase, we'll have 3 monsters on the field. You'll have generally your debug, you'll have a Firewall, and whatever monster you recoded alive back. So you'll have 3 monsters out. If they have an empty board, say you Senju, and you're trying to OTK through Kite Roy because you think they may have a hand trap, what you can do is you can use cross swipe. Well, they have to have some sort of card in the field to blow up, or you do, because it could be any card in the field, so you can blow up your own card as well. Is you could side it cross swipe the extra monster being Firewall, tribute destroy a card in the field, and then activate Recoded's effect of the graveyard to resummon back your Decode Talker and OTK through Kite. So very important to know that. One-time passcode. This card's very good simply because it plays around Book. It's a spell activation, kind of almost like how you would in Sky Striker if you play Master Duel. I don't know how familiar you are with it. You would use Sky Striker Hornet Drones. So Hornet Drones allows you to get something in case they want to interrupt your Ray. You can kind of play through it. Kind of the same thing here, but this is also really useful. Excuse me. To make L phase because it comes as a level 4. And we'll talk about why levels are very important when it comes into L phase. But L phase is something you really want to summon because it gives you extra advantage. And then on top of that, we're playing 3 Compulse. Compulse is very good and it's a card of choice because not only are we bouncing their monsters, but let's say with L phase, what we could do is we could reborn back Debug from the grave. Its effects are negated. However, if they activate MST in the draw phase and they want to hit your Compulse, you could chain Compulse, bounce back your Debug, and then be able to use Debug on the following turn to have a follow-up to go for lethal. So that could be a way to punish them for MSTing. So just a thought you may want to keep in mind that you can also compulse your own monsters. But Compulse is really good against Trickstars because you can get around them having their protection from Trickstar Festival when they link summon. It's also really good in this format against Mech Knights because if they summon Blue Sky and you compulse it, it's no longer in a column. And because it's no longer in a column, it now cannot search. So that shuts down their Blue Sky play, which is very, very useful. So these are things you want to keep in mind as you think about what text you want to play in the deck. It can be okay against purple Nightfall as well, because you can bounce purple when they activate the effect, but It's better against blue. It works its best against blue. You can also bounce their Morning Star as well. So those are a few things you can do against mechs. Anyway, onto the Link lineup. We play one Firewall Dragon. Okay, so if you don't know how Firewall Dragon works, it's a Link 4. It takes 2 effect monsters. This is a nerf down from what it used to be in the TCG. Firewall used to be absolutely ridiculous, but it's gotten nerfed down since. However, Firewall Dragon, once while this is face up on the field, quick effect, you could target monsters on the field and or in the graveyard, both players, up to the number of monsters co-linked to this card and return them to the hand. If this monster, if a monster this card points to is destroyed by battle, you can special summon the Cyberse from your hand. So, Firewall Dragon allows us to co-link bounce. So when you go turn 1 with this deck, you're going to end on Firewall and generally a recoded ally play that's going to allow you to co-link. Firewall has arrows pointing up, left, right, and down. Now, how do we co-link this? You're going to say, well, how are you going to have the resources to throw out 2 links? We're going to get into the skill in a second, and I'm going to show you how the combo works. But you're going to co-link Firewall with Encode Talker, generally. Sometimes it'll be Code Talker, rarely, but most of the time you're going to co-link this with Encode Talker, and when you co-link this with Encode Talker, you're able to bounce them back to the, get a bounce, and that's very strong. On top of that, we play Unicorn. So Nightmare Unicorn just released, takes 2+ monsters with different names. If you played Master Duel, I'm sure you've seen this card before. If this card is Link Summon, you discard 1 card, target 1 card on the field, shuffle it into the deck, and then if this card is co-linked upon activation, you get to draw a card. You're not going to really co-link with this too often, but this is great to, as an additional piece you can OTK with. You can run Phoenix if you want to. You don't have to, but you can play Phoenix in this deck if you want. We just weren't. But Unicorn is a great out to a lot of different things, especially something like Sunlight Wolf and Salad, like Compulse. It dodges destruction, so you get around Phalanx and cards like Trickstar, Festival. So very good. Decode Talker is essential. You have to have one of this or you cannot play the deck. Okay, there's like no way around it. You have to use it, and the skill does not provide it. In order for you to activate the skill, you need Decode, so you have to get one of this. 2+ effect monsters gains 500 attack for each monster it points to. When your opponent activates a card effect that targets cards you control, quick effect, you tribute 1 monster you control, negate the activation. Okay, Decode points up, left, down, and right down. You cannot tribute your opponent's monsters. That would be insane, but you cannot. What's really good about Decode Talker, excuse me, is that it can protect your back row. So set you up in a heavy tech hand, right? And you can't go in the Firewall Dragon. Okay, so we can end on like Compulse, Cross Wipe, or double Compulse, Cross Wipe with a Decode. And in that case, we'll have an L-Face play, hopefully, and then we'll have that debug attached to the zone where your Decode is. So then you contribute that monster. If they try to Galaxy Cyclone, MST, Cosmic your back row, then we're like, okay, well, you're not going to do that because we're going to negate. So very good way to protect your back row. You can the question that's going to come up is, can you play Crackdown in this deck? Of course. You can play whatever back you want. We just prefer Compulse at the time, but Crackdown is very good in the deck, especially in the deck where you can protect it with Decode. So don't feel ashamed for wanting to play Crackdown, because there is the argument that Crackdown is better in here than Compulse for that reason. And you can play Crackdown, and it can be very, very good with Crackdown being able to protect it with Decode. And getting free link material for the following turn to make like Security Dragon or your Nightmare stuff. And another question might come up and say, can you run multiple Firewall Dragon in this deck? There have been scenarios where we could make another Firewall. However, it's not enough to where we want to play multiple. And the deck is very tight. Have we had more room? That might be something we could do. But I could already think Power Code Toker going in before we even get to that second copy of Firewall. Alright. Now, next we run Encode Talker. So Encode Talker is a Link 3. this card is essential because this points up. So it points up, down, and right down. Okay, so it has some few weird arrows here. But it pointing up is essential because you're going to want to make co-link it with Firewall Dragon. So what its effect is once per turn during damage calculation, if a monster that this points to battles an opponent's monster, you can make that monster unable to be destroyed by battle, and you take no battle damage from that battle, and this card or the monster battling will gain attack equal to the opponent's monster until the end of the turn. So what's really good with this is really good to generate OTKs. So one play I did against heroes is I went into Sunrise, right? They went double Sunrise. No, not that I did. They did. They went double Sunrise turn 1 and then set a back row, right? So we were able to play past Book-a-Boom, but Echo Talker was really good because we had cross swipe, we popped one Sunrise, and then we were able to attack into the second Sunrise, knowing it couldn't pop anything, and then Echo Talker gave Firewall Dragon an additional 2,500 attack, and we were able to swing over an attack position Bion for game. So Echo Talker really comes up, and it can shock your opponent's OTK. And a lot of people on the radar do not read what this thing does. They do not bother to read it, so they end up attacking wrong, and then they're going to get punished. The attack boost only goes to the end of the turn, so most of the time you're using this offensively rather than defensively, but very, very strong. Next, we run Code Talker. This card is essential because this is a free link tune you make by using microcoder out of the hand. Generally, in an optimal state, you want to make the Code Talker with micro, but there are some cases that you don't make L phase and you go into this. So Code Talker is very essential. Also, its effect is quite useful. So when it points to another monster, it cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. That does come up. Okay, this does come up, and sometimes protection is very, very good. And your opponent may not pay attention to that and just summon recklessly in different zones and link summon, and then they get messed up because they cannot kill you because now suddenly you have an indestructible Code Talker. So that's very, very good. But mainly this is here for usage and making it with microcode. But what's also good with this is it also gains 500 attack for each monster it points to. So if you make this thing point to 2 monsters, it will gain 1,000 attack. But it's very easy to get this thing up to 1,800. And that's also good when you want to OTK with Firewall in the back end and you have limited resources. So keep that in mind. Next, we run L phase. Now this is very important. L phase is very important in terms of what I was discussing before about running C Archiver, about running one-time passcode and having enough level 4 or higher, level 2 or higher Cybers monsters to summon it. Level 3, I should say. Okay, so L phase takes 2 level 3 or higher Cybers monsters. It gains 300 attack for each monster it points to. If this card is link summoned, leaves the field, you target 1 level 4 or lower Cybers monster in your graveyard, special summon it, but it cannot be used as link material for the rest of the turn. Okay, so, and you can only use each effective L phase once per turn. So what's very important with L phase is that when you go into it, you need 2 level 3 or higher Cyberses, so your Link Slayer, your Lady Debug, your Backup Secretary, and your Edition, and your C Archiver. All these are searchable through the deck. You have an easy L phase by summoning Debug, searching out your Secretary, or by just doing a bunch of silent mining things. You could silent mining, pitch Archiver, and then when you resummon Archiver, you can make it with that. There's a lot of ways to get an L phase. A lot. And once you get into it, you really can go off. Also, one-time passcode, summons a level 4 Cybers. This is a free L phase if you have another level 4, level 3 or higher. So there's a lot of ways to get an L phase with this deck. Next, we run Security Dragon. Security Dragon is very good. It's easy to make and very easy to summon this deck. And when you co-link it with another monster, you get a bounce. So, easy removal. And bouncing things back to the extra deck or to the hand is quite good in this meta. So we run it. Easy OTKs. Link Disciple is very important. It outs Ibly Lock, but Ibly really doesn't hurt us too badly. You do want to make this instantaneously if they go Ibly though, and you want to go like, let's say you open up like Mining Dotscaper, you want to make this instantly because if you pitch Dotscaper off Mining, you can't summon it because of Ibly. So you want to instantly make Link Disciple, then do that so you can summon your Dotscaper. What's also really important about Disciple is that It's good in the fact of using something like Sea Archiver. So if you go Mining Pitch Archiver to the graveyard to search, and you have to normal like a dotscaper in any scenario, or you just want to like, let's say you do this, not even normal dotscaper, but let's say you search debug, and you have to make like something like Code Talker. What's really good with that is that you can link into Disciple after you make it, like a Code Talker, put Disciple under it, and then since you summon something to Code Talker's zone, which is your link Disciple, you can reborn Sea Archiver and get extension. So it's really good in that front too. Okay, so that's the deck list. I want to go over one more link that I didn't play, but I think it's something you can play and it can be really good. You'll see in a lot of lists. Power Code Talker. Okay, so this is a Link 3. It's a fire, but this card's very good and something to very much consider. It takes 3 monsters. Once returned, target one face-up monster in your field. Negate that target's effects until the end of the turn. So it can negate something like a Sunrise or whatnot. That's good. Also, it can negate Mech Knight Morningstar. That's also relevant if you want to go into there and start hitting them. Once returned, if this card battles an opponent's monster, you contribute 1 monster this card points to, and it gains that much attack. And the arrows for Power Code Talker are left, right, and down, right. Now it gets a little bit awkward. It would be it would be better if it points down directly, but it doesn't, or up. But unfortunately, it doesn't do that. But you can use this with like debug, or if you summon a link below it, and then be able to tribute it. But it's more situational, but you can play this if you want to. Okay, so, but encode is extremely important. Encode has to be in over this because you need this with the colon combo. Now, the skill. Let's go over the skill. The skill we have is Recoded Alive. So what happens is it can be used if you have Decode Talker in the extra monster zone. Set 1 Recoded Alive from your field from outside your deck. So this gets free advantage. It's a +1. The skill is a +1. You get this from outside the deck, not from your deck. And you need to meet the following conditions below. Your deck consists of 12 Cyberse monsters or side-end spell and traps, and all monsters in your extra deck have different names. Now, that's a little bit awkward, but it is what it is. Meaning that we couldn't run 2 Firewalls if we wanted to. So ignore me ever saying to run 2, because you would never run 2. Alright, so you have to have all different names, and then you can activate Recoded. Anyway, let's do this, and I'm going to show you the combo. Now, it may take me a few hands to open, but I'm going to show you how you set up Firewall turn 1. Let's switch gate. If we go turn 2, don't worry about it. Just pay attention. Alright, this is the most scrammed of hands. I'm just gonna scoop until I get the hand I want. That's it. I'm not saying you couldn't set it up with these hands, but I want to show you the optimal combo and the #1 combo you should be looking for over everything else. Like I said, not saying you can't make it with that hand, but I want to show you the optimal, what you should be looking for.
It's all right. Here I go.
This isn't it either. Alright. Alright, this might get to it. Alright, we're gonna activate mining.
Activate my spell card. Sign as mining.
Regardless if this... Yeah, this hand's... Okay, this hand's not gonna do it.
I activate my
This hand won't do it, but I'm gonna show you something anyway. We're gonna add here microcoder. So in this hand, you would just set up decode. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna make L phase.
Backup secretary.
And we're gonna go into L phase. Because we have 2 level 3 or higher Cyberses, we can make L phase.
Create my circuit. Show yourself.
Now, from L phase, we're gonna make Decode Talker. Using micro in the hand. and we're gonna search for follow mining.
Summon a monster. Appear. L phases effect.
Now, very important, when you summon Debug back,
I activate my
you
monster
want to
effect.
summon Debug to Decode Zone. So right here.
I know what to do.
Now we're gonna go ahead and activate Code Talker Alive, and that can be activated the same turn you set it.
Setting a card.
So if you go turn 2, you can activate it turn 2.
Attack. This is decode card.
And that's what you would do. That's a good combo in the deck when you do not have your setup. And then we still have 2 disruptions here.
Time for it's over. My monster
So we have 2 disruptions, we have Recoded set on the field, and we have a negate if they target us, and then we have 2 back row sets. So very good turn 1. Alright, now let me get to this Firewall combo. Lady Debug plus 1 extender is not going to do it. We need a few extenders. You're not always going to make Firewall, but you will a lot. I'd say about 50-60% of the time. So,
I'll
okay, now we have it. Okay, so what we're going to do is in this case, where we have mining, this is the God Hand. We're going to go ahead and search our Dotscaper first. We already have a level 4 in hand, so we can search Dotscaper here. Now we're going to go mining. We're going to pitch Dotscaper, and we're going to search our backup secretary. You could search Archiver, but I like Archiver because I think it's a better... not backup secretary, excuse me. Microcoder. You do not want to search the Archiver or backup here because we already have the level 4 extender. So we're going to go ahead and search Micro, and then we're going to trigger Dotscaper in the grave.
Dotscaper. I activate my monster's effect.
Now we're going to activate some special, and then we can make out face.
Create the ultimate circuit. Show your
And from here, we're going to link off L-Phase, and we're going to link off our microcoder.
Summon a monster. Appear.
Now we're going to activate L-Phase's effect, and we're going to summon back our Lady Debug, triggering our coder as well.
Monster's effect.
And we're going to search Crosswipe.
I know what to do.
Now we trigger Code Talker Alive. We're going to set, set, and set.
Setting a card.
And then, using our Dotscaper, we're going to link off our Decode and our Dotscaper, and we're going to summon Firewall Dragon.
Soar. Link 4. Fire.
Now, at this point, you don't co-link. We're going to activate the trap to co-link encode here, but we do not want to do that yet. Don't do it. You'll play right into a dark hole, and if your opponent doesn't know what you're doing, you can surprise them.
I end my turn.
Plus, if they MST Recorded Alive, they somehow don't know where it is,
Summon a monster in attack
even though the
position.
skill shows them where it is. They can make that mistake, and then they're in deep doo-doo. So, better the way.
I activate my
Now we're going to Recode It Alive, we're going to banish our Decode, and we're going to co-link our encode. And now we have a bounce. If it was still his turn, we'd be able to bounce. But you can see here, it's asking if you want to bounce. Now, if they just pass on back row, let's say you just pass on back row. You do have the option to bounce them. And you can bounce a blue sky with this too. And if you do, they do not get to search because it's no longer in a column. Now, let's say you didn't want to bounce, right? They just ended their turn. Well,
escape.
we can bounce from the graveyard. Or on the field. You can bounce your own debug as well, but we want to bounce from the graveyard. Right? We have the ability to grab another mining here. I'm going to show you. Well, if we went into Code Talker, but it's probably not worth it at that point. But if you wanted to, we could bounce back something like Addition. And then we can activate Addition,
My monster's effect.
boost up the Firewall, and do some more shenanigans. But if you needed another bounce, you could even link off encode. I'm just showing you a bunch of things you can do.
I link summon a
And then we can go into security.
go.
Co-link it with Firewall, activate Firewall's effect
Firewall Dragon's effect. Activate.
to get special summon and extender out of the hand. Then we can activate security, bounce this, and we can make Code Talker if we really want to, but we don't really need to. There's just so many different options you can do at this point. It's just ridiculous. And there's nothing you really need to do beside that point. But, you know, like I said, your options are just endless at this point.
Battle. Firewall dragon attack. My cards my monster attacks. Congratulations.
And there you go. That will do it. And that is how you play Code Talkers. Setting up your board and doing whatever you want to do. Now, let's see if I still have a few of these replays saved. Okay. These are some of the replays that we did. Now I'm going to show you exactly what I did now. So this is the final part of this video where I'm going to show you exactly what we did. These are some replays. Alright, this one's against Burning Abyss.
I'll duel. I won't duel. It's come out.
Alright, so he goes turn 1 Beatrice.
Show yourself. Show yourself. I exceed. I activate my monster.
He's going to mill for 3. He's going to summon out the big girl. So now he goes into Beatrice. Special Scarms out with the Libic. Activates Scar manning the tour guide, so he's got follow-up. But now it's our turn. We're going to try immediately to bait out his Beatrice. So now we activate Debug. Now opening up double Debug, double binding is not good. Luckily we taught Dotscaper, so it becomes a lot better. So he activates Dante. He's going to add back Farfa and then banish us. But we can play through that. We have Mining. We're going to pitch Dotscaper. We're going to special back to Dotscaper off the Mining. And we're going to link with Microcoda in our hands to summon Code Talker. This is a situation, like I said, you don't have Elface, so you can be able to make this play. We're going to go back up Secretary, and we're going to link summon out the Code Talker. Next, we're going to trigger Coded Alive, set 3, he Farfus is back, and we have targeting protection. And we just pass. Galaxy Cyclone, we let that go through. We want to keep the targeting protection here. Now he goes into Stone Darius. He could not make Virgil, for those wondering, because it got summoned out of the deck off tour guide. You cannot use the monster summon as material. If you want to know more about Burning Abyss, you can check out my BA video that I have posted. Now we discard Sea Archiver for more advantage. Now he's going to detach, and he's going to send Farfa, and we are going to add, once again, we can play through it. We kept the Recoded Alive. I didn't activate it because I wanted to wait to see what he did. He's going to dump Seer. Seer's going to revive back Dante. Now we go Recoded Alive. And this is where I say end Code Talker because, very important, watch. Now we're going to trigger Addition. We're going to boost up the attack of our end Code Talker by 1,000. And then we're going to summon Link Disciple. Now we can trigger Sea Archiver, and we're going to summon Security Dragon. Now at this point, remember what I said about Sea Archiver. Since we link Disciple right under the zone event code, we can trigger Sea Archiver's effect to be able to special summon itself from the end of the graveyard, but banish it once we do. So we special summon it, link it off, and then it gets banished. But we could bounce with Security Dragon, but there's no need because we already have lethal. So we trigger Encode's effect, which will allow us to boost up. So when we swing in with another monster, right? So when we swing in with another monster that points to Encode, we could have Encode activate the effect to gain attack equal to the attack of the monster we attacked. So in this case, we had Security Dragon swing into Beatrice. Because it did, we can stop the attack, for instance. Well, not stop the attack, but make our monster unable to be destroyed by battle or take any damage. Then, we could trigger Encode's effect to boost up its attack by the attack of Beatrice, which is 25. Since we had a 3300 Encode boosted up by Mathmech Addition, which has 1,000, so it boosted up to 33. And then we had the 25 from Beatrice. We now are at 5,800 Encode swinging over Darius. Minus 19 is 3,900 damage, and we win. And that is how you maximize the use of Encode Talker. So this is just one of the ways that you're going to be able to maximize out your advantage by playing Code Talkers. Okay, this is Mech Knights. Now, we were running World Legacy Succession in the deck at the time. This is a tech you can run It's essentially Monster Reborn for this deck because without it being Monster Reborn, but then you could reborn yourself if you want. So there's that, but it's essentially a Monster Reborn because we're gonna always have a link, a zone link points too. So he goes Blue Sky. You recognize that after Purple Nightfall, searching the Indigo Eclipse, gonna go into Morning Star, trigger Morning Star, pitching the Indigo, adding the secret, setting 2, and passing. You're like, uh-oh. This is a lot of people's nightmare, right? We can link off Ibly into Code Talker. So that's another thing. Because we don't have Dotscaper, we're going to go right into Code Talker. Alright? Ibly and Micro go into Code Talker. We can search the cross-swipe. This will help us. Now, the reason why we don't search mining is because we want to get past this trap. Cross-swipe contributed Cyberse to pop the trap. But we want to bait it out. So here's the Book of Moon. This is the play I was discussing to you. This is the play I was discussing to you guys in the deck profile. Remember when I said you use cross swipe on turn 2 after we bait out a Book of Moon or Crackdown to get rid of back row or compulse? Well, this is what we want to do. Now we know, obviously, the other face down is secret, so we can pop it. Now we can go one-time passcode, special summon, link under Disciple. This is very important. We're going to make Link Disciple here so we can revive back the Sea Archiver. Now we link off into Unicorn. Remember, Unicorn we can make 2. And now we shuffle in the Indigo Eclipse, and we reborn with succession the Link to Code Talker. Now we summon Firewall. And because we get boosted by Code Talker, we can now swing and OTK. So now we OTK Mech Knights through their trap. Indigo Eclipse, purple, blue, you're scared of this Tier 1? Get out of here. Tier 1, tier done. That's what it is. So, yeah. I'll show off one more replay, and then we're going to end the video so it's not a million minutes long. Also, if you enjoyed this video, you've learned anything, you've learned it, and you would like to see me stream live, because I stream on Twitch, I'll leave the description below. Oh, I forgot to bring up, one point we were on a 13-game win streak with this deck. We were killing everybody. So, keep that in mind. If you enjoyed this video, you liked it, please subscribe to my YouTube. We're pushing for 1,000 subs. We're almost to 600 now. And follow me on Twitch. The link will be in the description below. The next climb is going to be with Infernities. So, if you want a description of what I do on Twitch, different from what I do on YouTube, is I stream these decks live. So you can watch me climb the cog. You can ask me any questions you want. I do multiple decks to cog. I don't do one deck and that's it. I do a ton of decks. I do multiple counts. So you can see me get to cog with a lot of different decks and different strategies that we do. And we do this so that way everybody can understand and ask questions about what they want to do. We can experiment with different decks. I also do tournaments, and I stream my tournament runs. So if you want to see me play live, then that's the place to be. So you want to be on my Twitch to see that.
Create the ultimate circuit. Show yourself. Link 2.
Alright, so we go into Elf phase, microcoder. We make Decode Talker. After decode, we trigger Elf phase here. We're going to summon, and then we're going to search. Now, he crows here. He stops the Elf phase. I think he should have stopped the dot. Well, no, he can't stop the Dotscaper. Never mind. If you crow Dotscaper, that doesn't do anything. If he crows Dotscaper, we get to summon it, because if it gets banished, we also get to. One of our opponents did that play. Now, we go a little bit early here. This is when I was still learning the deck. I actually co-linked a bit earlier than I wanted to, because if I do it on my opponent's turn, it's a lot more beneficial. Plays around Dark Hole, and they may not see it coming. Okay, so in this spot, I read Liquid. Why? Because it's probably the monster he's going to set alongside him dumping a crow in the grave, and probably trying to make, in this case, Esquirda now, because that's the only target he has with Miracle. But we don't want him to draw. We're going to bounce here. Firewall says, get out of here. Yeah, emergency escape. Escape the duel. That's what he did. Alright, So that's my video again. Like I said, like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on Twitch. On my Twitch channel, I have a link to my Discord. Go join over there. I have deck tutorials over there. You can ask me questions. You can DM me directly. I will answer all your questions. You can have a nice long chat with me. I am so willing to do that. Ask me any questions you want. You comment in the comments. Ask me on Discord. You have a ton of ways to ask me on stream. Do not be shy. I am super duper friendly. I do not get mad at anybody. You can ask me any question you want. You could say, I'm brand new to the game. I don't know where to start. We'll give you a whole tutorial on what you need to do. I will stop what I'm doing to go over whatever deck needs to be done to make sure that you guys have an understanding of the question that you need. So please, please, please follow me. Also, if you like a progression series, you've watched maybe Alex Engage's progression. I do one of my own with Icy Gamers. I'll link his description below his channel, Dueling Unlocked. And I also want to give a shout out to JG. I'm starting up a Duel Links progression series with him. That will be on Twitch. I'm looking to get all the progression series uploaded to YouTube so you guys can watch them here as well. If you just want to watch the episode and you missed it, you couldn't be there and you just want to watch it, then you could do that. Okay. So until next time, it's your boy Sean Matrai signing out.